All right, so this is going to be a quick tutorial on how to make a name tag in TinkerCAD. So anytime we open up a new TinkerCAD window, I want you to go up here to where the name is and give it a name. I like always to name mine with my name and then what it is that I am making. That way I know when I get 20 files turned in, I know whose is whose, and it makes my life a lot easier as a teacher with organizing. So if you could please put your name and then underscore name tag, that would be terrific in your file type. And then come down here to edit your grid. And you can choose to do millimeters or inches depending on how you think. In the 3D printers we are going to be using are Ultimakers, and so pick the Ultimaker 3 and update our grid. So there is our work plane. First thing we want to do is create a base for our name tag. So we're going to grab a box and put it on the work plane. And then I'm going to click on one of these lower corner handles. And I'm going to say I want my name tag to be 3 inches by 1 inch. And then I'm going to make it 0.25, a 1/4 inch tall. So I did that then by clicking on the corner handle here, 1 inch by 3 inches, and the top handle at the top of the box, and I made it a 1/4 inch tall. So it's sitting on the work plane. There is the base of my name tag. I want to make a little hole in it so I can attach some sort of keychain or something like that that will hold, or a piece of string that'll hold it to whatever I want to attach it to. So I'm going to come up and grab my cylinder hole. The holes are these gray stripy. Anytime it's gray and stripy, that means it's going to cut a hole in the shape. So I'm going to again click on my handle, and I'm going to make my hole 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch. So I did 0.25 by 0.25, and then I can click and drag it onto my name tag. To rotate your work plane, you can right click if you have a mouse, or you can use this box up here and you can click on the different surfaces to get a full view, or you can click and drag it around so that you can see where things are. In order to pan or move your work plane in space, if you hold your Shift key and right click, you can drag your work plane back and forth in space. The scroll button will zoom in and zoom out, or you can use your plus and minus over here to zoom in and zoom out. So it's kind of navigating around in this space. So I put my hole in, I'm going to cut a hole in this rectangle to be able to attach a keychain. So I'm going to highlight all of them, and I'm going to select all of the pieces. And then up here in the top is our group button. If you click the group button, it's going to cut a hole. It's going to attach the hole to the rectangle and make it a cutout in our rectangle. So I put mine in the corner. You don't have to. You can put it in the middle. That's totally fine. But here's the base for my name tag. So the next step is to bring in the text. So over in our basic shapes, over on the right, text is one of the choices. So I'm going to drag my text in onto my work plane. It's going to show me a little dialog box here for what my text is. I'm going to make it say my name. There we go. And there's a couple of different fonts you can choose. It's pretty limited. There's serif, sans serif, and then multi-language. You can adjust the bevel, so how bold it is. You can adjust the segments. I usually just go with the default, makes it pretty simple. So my name is too big, so I do need to change the size. So I'm going to click on the corner. I'm going to hold my Shift key and click on the corner handle. And what that does is keep my proportions constrained so that it's not going to get super tall or super pulled out, right? So if I hold my Shift key, it'll keep my proportions right for the text. Okay, now if I click on my handle here, my text is just barely taller than my my rectangle. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make that let's do 0.4 inches so that it sticks up just a little bit, but not too much. All right. So as I try to move this around, it's not letting me, it's kind of jumping where instead of being a smooth, so it's not really letting me put it where I want it. That's called a snap, the snap grid. So if you look down in the lower right-hand corner, it says right now our snap grid is 1/8 of an inch. We can turn that off. And what that does is let us have complete control over where the name is on our nameplate. So I'm going to plunk it right about there. If you want to make sure it's centered, you can select everything and click up here at the top on the right. There's an align tool button. So I'm going to click the align button and I'm going to click this dot over on the left, and that's going to align things top to bottom this way. So right now my wolf is exactly in the middle of my rectangle. So that's just an easy way to kind of line things up and not have to just eyeball them. All right, so I could be done. If you want it, if you want your letters to kind of stick out from your name tag, you can. That totally works. The other thing you can do that's kind of neat is you can make it a hole. And then when you group it, so you're going to pick your group button up here. Once you group it, it's going to create a hole for your name. Now, one of the problems with this is that when you 3D print it, your O and your E, the center of your O and the center of your, well, for me, my E and my O are going to fall out because they're not actually attached to anything. So I'm going to undo. And what I'm going to do is lift up my hole, my name. So I'm going to use this black arrow at the top. I'm going to lift up my name just a little bit, maybe 0.1 inch. And what that's going to do is leave some material of the rectangle left over so that hopefully it will just be an embossed name instead of a hole all the way through. So I'm going to select it all again. I'm going to group it. And there I have my name is kind of carved into the name tag instead of going all the way through my name tag. And that way I won't lose my O or my E. So there you have it. You have two different choices. You can have it pop out and be raised letters, or you can have it engraved in and do recessed letters. So the last step is to export the file so that it can be printed. So we're going to come up here to the right side to where it says export and click on export and pick STL file. And it's going to download that. It's going to ask you for a name. You hit save. It's going to download it. And then you upload to Google Classroom the file that just got saved. And hopefully, if all goes well, I can print it for you. Hope that helped.